car. The camera decided to start itself as I was grabbing a piece of amber resin to add to this charcoal as soon as it's ready. This is going to be, it's been 2 weeks, so we're going to have another, what we can do at this time to be a lighthouse for others. And this is re-inspired by one of my own little tangents yesterday pertaining to the ego and the nickname that I have given it. Not my ego, not your ego, the ego. Because the ego is not who we are. We are not the ego. But the ego can be stubborn and relentless. And I must say, I don't handle disrespect as well as many others, actually. So, yeah, making an example of myself in terms of the ego. Now, moving into making an example of being that lighthouse for others. And we're going to begin with the seed and sickle this time, to get some significant, signifying, significator energy on the table first, as everything is energy, beloveds. This is another one of those decks that they're actually meant to keep the guidebooks handy for, because of the teachable moments specific to each card. But also, with Oracle being free form, there is plenty of room for intuitive interpretations as well. This is why I make it clear that, first of all, this isn't a tarot and oracle channel. It is a storytelling channel. And we do utilize multiple tools, materials, and modalities to create a story. One that may ring true. One that may resonate. And this session, this story pertains to what we can do, what areas of our lives and ourselves we can do a little more digging in, a little bit more study, a little bit more work in these areas. And of course, what is a lighthouse without that shining light? So at the end, we will determine what exactly that shining light is from the cards as well. We're going to go into the seed and sickle and several other decks, making a pattern out of it. Making several passes with each deck to build a scenario here. Alright. Before we go into this storyline and what we can do at this time to be a lighthouse to others, for others. A command prayer. This is where the honey, resin, incense comes in. As well as tallow, which is still slightly burning, but we're going to place it on the charcoal with the amber. It's going to get super hazy in here for a moment. Alright. O infinite creator, source of all that is, was, and will ever be. I stand and we stand in your divine authority, commanding in alignment with your perfect will. By the power of divine law, we now open our lives to abundant security, stability, and protection. No weapons formed against us shall prosper. Every curse, every evil eye, every ill will, every case, cause, concern, conflict, and negative confrontation dissolves into nothingness by the radiance of your light. We command true prosperity to flow into our lives. Prosperity that nourishes our souls, sustains our bodies, and blesses all who walk with us. Wealth and resources are now aligned to our highest purposes. We command good fortune to follow us in all things, doors of opportunity opening before us effortlessly. And every step we take is guided by divine favor. Calling forth true love, divinely ordained, harmonious and eternal. Our hearts and souls are aligned to receive and give love in its purest, most sacred form. May our paths be illuminated, our spirits fortified, and our lives a testament to the boundless grace of the Creator. So it is. So it is. So it is. And so it shall be. That was a lot of amber resin, yo. Can't blame anything but the resin for that chokehold I just experienced. Sippy sip. So good. All right. So here we go. Into the seed and sickle. Primary energy for this message pertaining to what it is we can do and what areas we can study further, dig deeper, and work on within ourselves in order to be more of that lighthouse to and for others. Here we go. Holy Spirit, thank you, thank you, thank you. I see one poking out. We're going to do 3 stacks. Past the now, well, the near past, relative to the now, and the near future relative to the now. Okay. One more. And there it is. I just had to pick up the pace a bit. There we go. And we're going to begin with what is consistently in our environment, in our orbit, behind the scenes. This is energy that we are not and do not partake in, are not required to partake in, but is still part of the plot and scenario. Nevertheless, we have cherry and number 7. And also good reason to change the lighting. I know this is so unprofessional of me, but here we are doing it anyway. So, it's going to get better. All right. Well, still can't quite read the letters, but it does say cherry. Notice the cherry blossoms. Let's see how we can prop this better. There we go. Reaching for the Dawn Guidebook for number 7 and the cherry. Interestingly enough, my thumb was already holding that place. Okay, cherries are one of the earliest trees to bloom and one of the first to produce fully ripened fruit. With laden branches throughout the year, it's truly the symbol of productivity and abundance. Now is the time to engage in your own season of productivity, even if others are at rest. The circumstances have all come together to provide the perfect setting for addressing tasks you've been putting off lately. This is already clarifying what was mentioned in another recent session about these refreshing ideas and, the ones that we have been keeping on ice for a while, reserving, according to the Ice Queen from Wisdom of the Hidden Realms. Feeling inspired to bring that deck in as well, so we'll go into that deck after we take a look here at what's on the table. So, confirmation on the refreshing ideas. And there is something significant that we as the collective have been putting off that is actually a little bit of a disservice, because it's like it's that one thing that could truly be contributing to that lighthouse effect for others, contributing to being that beacon of hope, faith, and love. That looks like a dove. It looks like a dove in a cherry tree. It almost makes me wonder, not even almost, it makes me wonder, what is the significance of the dove and the cherry tree spiritually? First, we'll take a look at the cherry tree, symbolizing renewal, the transient nature of life, and the beauty of impermanence, offering profound insights into personal growth and appreciation of the present moment. Appreciation for the now. To a degree, I do have a deep reverence to the now, which is why I decided to refer to these cards as the near past relevant to the now, and the near future relevant to the now. So not venturing too far in either perceived to be direction, like not too far into the past and not thinking too far into the future either. So the colors of the cherry blossom are also considered a warm color, a fortunate hue, welcoming luck and prosperity into the home by painting the front door red. Also, cherry spirit is quite romantic, which would explain a lot with the dove and the cherry tree. Interesting. Also, the vibration having the capacity to promote healing, energizing, joy, vitality, and desire. Spirit telling us that not everything in life is serious and solemn. Oh, but I was serious, solemn, and firm yesterday with the last video that I made, and it actually became a private view video. And anyone who got a glimpse of it yesterday is rather fortunate, because it has now been removed. But I still have the recording. But it may cost you. Just saying. Moving along. The cherry tree's motto is, life is a bowl of cherries, eat them and enjoy. There are also some quotes. One in particular I would like to share. You can't pick cherries with your back to the tree. Quoted by John M. Mitchell. This is all coming from buildingbeautifulsouls.com. So shout out to buildingbeautifulsouls.com. for these references. Much gratitude and appreciation. There is also potential here to the name connecting with using cherry juice to color the lips. Old French transformed this to cerise, and the Greek kerasos both just mean cherry tree. There are also aromatherapeutic and alternative medicine qualities to this, but I will not go too much into that at this time. In a nutshell, how this attributes to being a lighthouse for others. Recognizing that life is too short to spend it any other way than to be that message of spiritual justice, which ultimately means and translates to alignment and balance. And never was it meant to mean taking other people's perceived mistakes, karma, so on and so forth, into our own hands. Fidelity is significant. Loyalty is royalty. And it's extremely significant at this time for anyone experiencing some form of new beginning. It is a contrast of death and renewal. The lovely contrast of death and renewal is impossible to overlook in the carvings and paintings of cherry trees and cherry blossoms. The juices symbolizing the immortality of our soul and reincarnation. Namely, spreading thousands of seedlings as if to ensure its continuance. So, the intuitive message that I'm getting from that is upping our game, beloveds. 2, 3, 3, 2 on the timer as I said that. Let's take a look at 2, 3, 3, 2. And then we're going to look at this dove. Encouraging open and honest communication, striving for mutual understanding and respect, but also an air of caution to be prepared for potential upheaval or turbulence in a relationship. The power of an ascended master causing a miracle in terms of unrequited love. Indicating that we are the honest and loyal person in the equation. Being guided to keep going, never give up, stand by our principles, and continue to grow as an honorable individual. with a strong character and using our abilities to impact the lives of others with wisdom incomparable. Oops, I nearly knocked my glasses off the table. Okay. When we focus our mind to accomplish a certain endeavor, we don't stop until it's completely over. And the world is filled with very few people like this. Have faith that everything is working out for us. Because we're living right by the eyes of our spirit guides, expecting the best out of our relationships. Also serving as an anchor on spiritual matters. And we're being guided not to lean more into material aspects of success and neglect the spiritual. We're being guided to, amp it up a bit in terms of the spiritual work at this time. Two, 3, 3, 2 will help us strike a balance between both worlds and maintain more positive qualities. Love how that worked out. And then the dove, symbolizing the connection between the earth and spiritual realms. Also seen as symbols of enduring love and what? Faithfulness. So there's the fidelity. Synchronizing with that angel number. Joy, peace, and the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is present as we speak. Often seen as a divine messenger. Maintaining inner peace amid challenges. Purity, spiritual awakening, and divine intervention. Especially when we see doves in our dreams. So remember, this is in the environment. Resources already available to us. And it may not necessarily be us in this environment doing the work. It could be the work of another that is in tandem with whatever it is we are doing as the collective. All right, now we're going to go into, with the cards facing you, turning this around. Here we go. This will be recent past pertaining and relevant to the now. We have henbane. Intuitively, I'm getting, where has the collective been sacrificing a little bit too much? A little bit too much. Feeling guided to go into the Dusk guidebook for henbane. Forgetting previous lives so that they might move forward to the underworld without regrets. The underworld may not be your destination, but something is still holding you back right now. Find it, forgive it, and move forward with more freedom. Well, that couldn't be any more plain of an answer. So, coming from the most recent past is telling us to let go of it. Let go of it. Let go of the past sacrifices and over sacrificing that we may have partaken in. Going into the now, we have wisteria. Beautiful. Wisteria can be invasive when it isn't maintained. And it's kind of feel like that's how I feel about my ego yesterday, trying to teach about the ego, getting a handle on the ego, and it flaring all in one little session. The ego was being invasive. 5 minus 1 is 4. So there is in fact something that we have been letting go of, as 51, 5 minus 1, minus the 1, we're at a 4 in the now. But that contraction is not a bad thing. Painful, perhaps, but it's not a bad thing. It's not a curse. It's not a punishment. All right. Bringing hysteria up. I know I didn't do that with the henbane, but even the henbane is advising us to leave the past where it's at. So that's what we are going to do moving forward. Feeling guided to actually go into the dawn book and the dusk in that particular order. Number 4. A Korean legend telling of 2 sisters, both unknowingly in love with the same man, discovering each other sneaking into the same tent one night, they chose to continue to love each other rather than fight over him. Nothing that is truly worth achieving can be won alone, and some things are not worth jeopardizing important relationships for. Relying on others can seem like a loss of independence, but together you can grow stronger than you would on your own. Which is why we have in the environment that cherry tree and that dove assisting us. It's that support guiding us and growing stronger than we would on our own, but also without losing our independence. It's already here. It's already in the environment. Even if it's not physically in the environment yet. And the recent future pertaining to the now. We have cornflower and master number 11. Cornflower. Master number 11. Coming back to the wisteria. A reminder to trust our instincts and listen to our inner voice before making any decisions. And that is yet another way that we can be a beacon of light, a lighthouse to others. There is power in stillness and in waiting. It may feel like others are rushing ahead in their endeavors, but you will know when the time is right for you to act. Boo, y'all. Boo, y'all. Okay, we're going into the Dawn guidebook for the answer from the cornflower. I know that cornflowers can be a bit of a hindrance to farmers, especially those growing alfalfa and corn, any kind of hay or grasses that would eventually be processed into livestock feed. Cornflowers are really tough, resilient plants, which also means the reason why they can be a hindrance is because they can dull and tear up the blades on the farming equipment. So cornflower is one of those energies that you either really love it or you really hate it. And that should give some indication that whatever the cornflower has to say for us from this book more than likely pertains to something that we may not necessarily like, at least in the beginning, but may be for our greater good going into the future. A situation or idea that seemed unimportant. We're being guided to not dismiss them. Take the time to find their true value. These are these refreshing ideas we've been putting on ice. Again, this is indication that these refreshing ideas are not going to be for everyone, and we are not for everyone, and that's okay. Do it anyway. Whatever it is, do it anyway. I'm a poster child of being bold and being a risk taker, even if it means risking embarrassment to be my most authentic self at all times, regardless of what I'm feeling, experiencing. When the ego flares, so that tells me that I need to make that video that I made yesterday available again. Thank you, Spirit. Because whether I'm using my morning voice, my inside voice, or my more firm voice, my outside voice, it's still authentically me. And another message that I got this morning was to be okay with being more bold and daring. But also a message of where have we been too hard on ourselves and where we need to actually go more easy on ourselves. And this message came from two different groups of people, two different hosts of two different streams, actually. But because there are similarities in their niches, I'm really into both of these channels, the connections, the everything, everyone involved, and just the whole kit and caboodle is so like that breath of fresh air we never knew we needed until we were there. And now I guilt myself if I arrive late or take a nap. Ask for forgiveness just to be humbled once again by a snarky remark about how at least someone else shows up every day, when in all actuality, no. They have missed the mark before as well. Except the other mind wasn't on that because their mind was on me. Isn't that something? Followed by, oh, we missed you so much. Well, I missed you too. And I love you. Yes. An idea that once seemed important is going to be that refreshing idea coming into the now. We're already in the now. Now, forgetting the past doesn't mean forgetting about those ideas that we still have on ice. They haven't even been introduced into the now yet. So we can't even say, oh, well, it's from the past. It's an idea that's been on ice. It hasn't been implemented yet. We're being guided to let go of anything that has been implemented before that is not actually benefiting. Because it's those refreshing ideas that will benefit. Even if they're not for everyone. Much like that cornflower. The farmers hate them. But we love our farmers. Without our farmers, we wouldn't get fed. Guess what else? All of these flowers attract bees. We also need bees or we wouldn't get fed. Because if the pollination process doesn't occur, the crops won't grow. And then the farmers don't have any work either, and everybody suffers. Isn't that quite the trickle effect? Dull blades or not, I think I would be grateful in all humility to even have the opportunity and the tools necessary to cultivate anything in the physical, emotional, and spiritual that can leave one feeling nourished, uplifted, engaged, but also elevated in accordance to that positive feedback loop. So instead of focusing on how the cornflower may eventually tear up the blades, how about we focus on how if it wasn't for the cornflowers feeding the bees, the plants wouldn't get pollinated, there wouldn't be any crops, and everybody would be extinct. Circle of life, my friends. Oh, we wouldn't even have lemons. Or lemony snickets. Life wouldn't be able to throw us lemons to present us with challenges that can only make us stronger. Yes. All right, let's go into the kipper. We're already 45 minutes in. This is going to be a long one. This is going to be a long one. All right. We're going to do a bit of shuffling. I did not really do a lot of shuffling of this deck the last time I used it. So we're going to do that now, and we're going to clear it. The tallow is burning rather marvelously. And yes, I do speak like this in regular, smegular, everyday life. So it's not about being ultra kind or ultra spiritual. I'm just me. All right, giving it a shuffle. One more, so we can incorporate the tallow. Oh, what do we have turning over inside the deck? The pathway presenting itself again. This is the environment pairing up with the cherry. We may not necessarily be directly the one creating this pathway, but it is in tandem with our work, just like the cherry tree, the cherry, the dove, all in tandem. This is like, it's giving multiple heads are better than one, and working so well together, enduring with love and faithfulness, that as we transform together, there are multiple butterflies, by the way. As we are transforming together, we are clearing the way together. And that light at the end of the pathway is us. All right, number 35. Announcing the overcoming of of distance, both temporarily and spatially. As long as we don't try to force the matters, we'll experience continuous development. So, representing also flow and not force. I was thinking the other day when I was looking at it, man, why does that look so much like a dried up riverbed, or like a dried up creek bed, or something of that, like, yeah. Hold on. Man, I'm telling you, there's a bank on both sides of this path. There's something significant about an area where there may have been a dried up riverbed, or like a dried up creek, stream of some kind. And it's almost, I'm literally having a premonition of a natural spring coming out of dormancy and making its way back to the surface again, and recreating A refreshing stream of transformation and expansion. That light is expanding. A refreshing stream in the environment. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Huh. It can pertain to partnerships as well as other forms of long-term, including vocation. I see. Behind the significator, which these are the significators, all four of these cards are significators. It can mean a long time ago. So something that the collective had been working on, putting effort into people, places, things, situations that never really were implemented into our lives, that are that refreshing idea, that refreshing move, that next bold, risk-taking, daring move. Positive risk-taking, I just heard. Transformational risk-taking, I just heard. Wow, back to back. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for that double message. Thank you, thank you. Now let's go into the recent past, even though we're not supposed to be digging around in there. You know why? Because we're already on our journey. Lingering in the past, or lingering in the environment from the past, we have the journey. Which means that refreshing change, we'll just call it change now, even though the change card isn't on the table. Because it's coming from the past into the now. It's a change. It's a transformation. Transformation is on the table. As well as the relevance to teamwork, collaboration. All those cherries being us. And no cherry being more significant than the other, beloveds. All those butterflies, us, multiple cherries, multiple butterflies, and abundance of support, collaboration, community and family orientedness, but not in that weird, domineering, controlling, you'll always be my fill in the blanks kind of funky family dynamic. That is what's being left in the past with the henbane and the journey away from that old way of thinking, believing, and behaving. Beautiful. Let's take a closer look now at number 10. Yep. Taking a step forward, leaving your old unfamiliar situation, So the journey is literally confirmation of the henbane. Talk about the synchronicities in that, beloveds. Wow. Okay. Okay. That was a direct confirmation and clarification. Indeed. So, this is also giving that energy of whatever it is that we were seeking is now seeking us. 5555, there's that change that I said wasn't on the table, and it is now. Let's take a look at 5555 as an angel number. We already know that fives signify transformation that's already in the environment and new beginnings with the journey. Interesting. Some of the past is in the environment, but it's like only the most important tools, materials, and modalities to leave the past behind and embrace that contraction period going into the now, coming into the now. Coming, going, it's all the same to me. So, it's coming in or going in, regardless of where you're standing in the process, I suppose. Okay, beautiful. Let's go into the now and wisteria in the now. What is in the orbit and in the now that we're being guided to? Further study, dig deeper, or otherwise implement to some degree in order to be that lighthouse to and for others. One, please. Thank you. Despair in reverse. Overcoming it. Wow. See? Watch. Overcoming despair. You watched me shuffle. It was in reverse in the deck. That's funny. Huh. Overcoming the overcoming the despair in the wisteria. Funny. Never mind. Oh, yes. Overcoming the despair. Like I said to my sister Selma yesterday. And this is a message for everyone, including myself. When you say it, mean it, and be sincere. I love you. Be sincere. No longer riddled with resentments, because we are becoming more sincere, and also with those other angel numbers, more loving, loyal. And in every message so far, there has been some kind of message of new beginnings, transformation, and growth that are definitely still in our orbit. Despair in reverse. I am liking the look of this. No longer dealing with frustration, headache, jealousy, anger, brooding, grief, adversity, and obstacles. Overcoming it. Overcoming relationships characterized by trouble or heavy workloads or even fear of a job loss. Vocational concerns, all of it being turned on its head. Overcoming despair amongst the wistair. Funny. I love it. I love it. I love this message for you. For us, but mostly for you. Mostly for you. All right. Let's go back into the kipper. Clarifying the cornflower, but also bringing in more insight in terms of what areas we can continue to do the work in or otherwise work in. Involving the near future, relevant also to the now, which is overcoming despair amongst the wistair. Oh, saying that is never going to get old. Overcoming despair while amongst the wistair. So poetic. See, that's where the auto writing comes in. We also have false person landing in reverse. So this is either leaving a false person behind or, and because you've already dealt with the despair of that reality, it's like you had to let go in here and in here first. And now it is done. Either letting go of a false person, like literally a false person in your life, or becoming a more authentic version of yourself. It could be both. It could be both. It could be letting go of a false person so that you can transform even more so into that more authentic version of yourself on a more authentic timeline with more authentic connections with those people, places, things, and situations. Further enhancing our ability to be that beacon of light, to be that lighthouse for others. You could even be doing that false person a favor so that they can work through their own inauthenticities somewhere else. Or maybe their falseness is really not about the effery and the fakery. It's more about they may not feel like they can be their authentic selves with us any more than we feel like we can't be our authentic selves with them. And it's just like a natural departing. a journey made possible without the despair. We've already worked through all that with that mind and heart connection. So now it's just going through it in the 3D. Bringing that 5D into the 4D and making it our reality is what I just heard. Something extremely significant about maturity. Maturity is in the upright. Handling things more maturely with a lover in reverse. I'm feeling guided to just keep going from the environment. This is in the environment. For some of the collective, all of it's going to resonate, but each area of the scenario is going to fit each one of you in a different manner. Okay, there is a mature person, more particularly a man, coming out with that false person, they could be a challenging figure. So this older person, this person older than you, which is also another meaning for the mature man card, someone older than you, and the false person card coming out in reverse though. So that's telling me that this person is either no longer being immature or the falseness is what made them the challenging figure in the past. A former lover, we have the doves back out again. Boop and boop. See the doves? So, there is significance to this card. And a false person, or just several people in a collective setting who are growing up and becoming more authentic in the process. With the lovers in reverse, all this really means, I'm just telling you where my eyes were immediately directed to. Okay? All this means, in essence, is this is a loving connection. It's still a loving connection, even though it's in reverse. But it's a connection that is with people, places, things, situations, and even vocations that are not necessarily nearby. It's from a distance. Overall, any of those things I just rattled off, from a distance, not nearby, not in close proximity, not immediate to you. Growing up, becoming more authentic. Alright, now let's bring in wisdom of the hidden realms, and we're going to make another pass. This mature man and the lovers in reverse are all in the environment because I was just guided to bring more into our orbit in terms of what's already in the environment. Alright? We still have our clarifiers for that first and second, or for the first pass from the seed and sickle. Second pass is from the kipper. Now we're going to go into wisdom of the hidden realms for a bit more detail. Past, recent past pertaining to the now, and recent future. Recent future. How would upcoming, but still relevant to the now. Well, there's a lot going on in the environment that is speaking loudly. Ooh, Gaia's Garden is back out again. Yes. It's funny. Listen, I can't make this up. We have number 10 over here and number 8 over here, and it landed in the middle. Which adds together into the now at number 18. Landing in the now, even though it's for the environment. So it's really just confirming that all of that is in the environment and an abundance of it is already in the now. You have options, collective. That's what was just placed on my heart. You have options, an abundance of them. It landed here, but we're going to place it here, remembering that there's still that synchronicity with the past card being number 10, the future card being number 8, and adding that together we had 18. Gaia's Garden is number 18. You saw where it landed, beloveds. And since it's in the now, it also means it's in our environment and in our orbit now. All right. Now let's go into the past. We have the Arrow Master and the number 10. Whoa. Ten. Some other beginnings, meaning some other beginnings end. 10. New beginnings. And divine time with that, hitting the mark with our intentions. The Arrow Master. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Detachment, interestingly enough, because in the past we went on a journey to get over the past and practice that art of detachment. And furthermore, coming into the now, turning despair on its head. Overcoming despair amongst the wister. I love that. The timing is impeccable with all of these synchros as it would be more eloquently put by my spirit bros. Bars. Love you, Pat and Merrick. Yes, Patrick. He may not like to be called Pat. But hey, what else do we have coming into the now? We have aggression and optimism with the fire prince. But this is like healthy, beneficial type of aggression. Like being more aggressive towards bringing those refreshing ideas into the now. Have you ever had a good whiff of wisteria? Unless you're allergic, it smells like heaven. If heaven had a smell. And heaven is within. So that's telling me that some things just aren't meant for us to understand. Even how to describe love, how to describe heaven. Like, who are we to do God's work anyway? And yet we continue to be what? Optimistic. Optimism is on the table. Oh, look. And look at all that red and the fire. With false person in reverse, meaning becoming more authentic versions of ourselves. Look at what's going on in the background of this card. Besides the red. There's fire. Oh yeah. There's fire. No longer wearing a mask. Love it. This is great. This truly is great. Okay. We are back at master number 11, the cornflower. So, this is where we're going to bring in the bell and ring in the blessings. We are back at the near future. There it is, Spirit. Thank you. The near future that is relevant to the now. So, immediate future. All right. Number 11, ringing in the blessings as we become even more transformative, authentic versions of ourselves. I just heard we may not be the same tomorrow, but we will still be authentic either way. This may be a good time to reduce the volume on your listening devices. We are going to count up to 3. And then ring the bell. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that sounded a little rough. So, what we're going to do is actually bring in a little bit of sage and tobacco and cedar blend to drop on this charcoal. As it is known to bless, purify, and protect the space We're going to give it just a moment, and I'm going to show you what alchemy is. Because that bell is about to ring much more clearly. I'm down to the lemons. Ooh-wee. Alright, here we go. So the bell indicated a bit of negative voltage in the area. It could just be in the air, the atmosphere, but it does affect the resonance. Let's see how we did in improving the resonance. 1, 2, 3. Just know it all is energy. There it is. Very good. Very good. Rather than the wonky, kind of obnoxious sound, it was ringing a bit more clear. But that particular type of bell is not, it doesn't have that high tone that other bells have. And this one really doesn't either. This one, it just... You almost have to be aggressive with this one to get it to ring loud. Okay, now we can go into the near future. What can be carried forward into the near future that is relevant to the now, and where we can continue to do the work dig a little deeper and be a more bold and daring, risk-taking lighthouse for the collective. Winged wise ones, angelic help, okay, how does this pertain to us being more of a lighthouse to others? Well, right, not to sound arrogant or anything like that, going from the fire prince being invisible forces behind all manners of our manifestation in the environment, in the now, being rightly inspired with that gift of optimism, believing that these miracles do and will happen, especially with all the synchronicities. Envisioning that path. Our miraculous aid is that collective. Some of them being more mature than us. For some of the collective, former, and I mean mature in age, not necessarily behavior. Because remember what I was saying earlier about how somebody who is older than us had to grow up in order to be more authentic versions of themselves going into the future. So, by being more optimistic and also aggressive towards those refreshing ideas, we see these miracles manifesting like well watchers. The power of the divine. Wisdom. Something about the collective, our experiences are going to feel and seem like angelic help and miraculous aid to others. Sharing in our testimonies, but with putting more emphasis on the triumphs over the trauma. I've already shared quite a few tidbits of my past, and also am sure to mention that when I'm sharing about things that are personal, I'm not sharing about real time. I'm not sharing about what's in the now. If I talk about anything personal, I'm not referring to the now. What's in the now is being more aggressive towards those refreshing ideas as we continue to overcome the despair of the past. Transmuting that into a triumph, which is further alchemized into that miraculous aid, guiding, uplifting, helping, and authentically, because this is in reverse, false person is in reverse, so authentically serving others. Even when it doesn't mean it's for everyone. It can be for anyone, but it may not be for everyone. All right. So we're going to turn off this heater. Woo. And now go into the Hungarian Gypsy. Again, I'm really liking utilizing these decks together because it helps me keep my own energy in check for some reason. So, yeah. I have several decks involving nature. The Woodland Wardens, plants and animals, Seed and Sickle, primarily plants, but also featuring animals, Just like, well, I think the only one that featured an animal this time is the cherry tree, featuring the dove, which also came out in other cards. Oh! 3 cards now where I have noticed the doves anyway. The lovebirds. Okay. Ooh. More and more of this story of divine counterparts coming together that is going to change the world in a positive manner and continue to contribute to that positive feedback loop. Even through that contraction stage coming out of the past into the now. Let's bring in a bit more detail, beginning with the orbit, what's already present, but still going to be more prevalent in the near future and relevant to the now, nevertheless. Oh, you know what that means. What falls to the floor is coming to our door. Oh my goodness. The house. And the card that I grabbed to honor my privacy is the gift again. Some of you may even be gifted a house. But that's just looking at it in the most rational, logical, and literal way. Let's be a little bit more optimistic and aggressive and even a bit more refreshing and look at this in other ways that are less literal and more like metaphorical, figurative. Those of us incorporating our gifts into the now, benefiting the near future, gifts that are already in our orbit, that are going to secure the fort. I just heard. Securing the fort. Our gifts. Our gifts. Which don't make us any more special or better and unique and important than others by any means. But there's something about our gifts in the environment, already in the environment, that are creating more security I just heard a more secure household dynamic. But the house isn't just like the physical home. It's that feeling that we get that feels like home no matter where we go. Thank you, Spirit. That came directly from Spirit because that's not how I was going to end that. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for coming through and wrapping that up nicely with a cute little purple bow and some beautiful pink roses. Something tells me that those roses do not smell like boo. I'm not even going to try to sing it right now. Just know that those roses are not the stinky ones. You got options, yeah. You got options. And how to secure the future in the now. It's already in the orbit. Now let's go into the recent past supporting the now. In terms of changes being made, but also changes we can actively do ourselves and bring into fruition into the now, that also in tandem provide a lighthouse for others. Oh, we had multiple cards come out with this one as well. A money message? No, that's taking it entirely too literal. We have money, but also message. But the message card also has money and letters. A message about our security, not just in the material, but also in other realms. Currency that is not necessarily pertaining to material relationships, but does include our material relationships at this point, going into the future, with this balance between the mundane and the spiritual. Head in the clouds, but feet firmly planted on the ground. We are that bridge between the mundane and the spiritual. And this is what happened in the past. So we recognize that one of those gifts, which isn't even really a gift at all, it just may be perceived by others as a gift, of having a deeper connection with Source, when any of us can have that. No competition, no comparisons. Even the farmer disliking the cornflower because it roughs up their blades. It can be for them. Anybody. But the farmer will tell you that cornflower is not. Cornflowers are not for everyone. Do it anyway. It's refreshing to the majority. And those people-pleasing days are over. Over. That became evident with the henbane, leaving the suffering in the past. Alright, now let's go into the now. More detail into where we can situationally take the lead and continue to be that lighthouse for others. Consistency in what we're already doing. Yes. Consistency in how we have been discerning people, places, things, and situations has been serving us well. Beautiful. Consistent balance. Spiritual justice is what I just heard. alignment, authenticity. No longer being all up in our thoughts about it either, or being all up in our thoughts about the past. I'm going to have to end this soon. I already know I'm going to have to delete stuff just to process this one. No longer handling situations with anger, even if we do have a firm voice going into the future. And right behind that, we have journey out for the second time. Confirmation of that journey. One journey leading into another. Remember when Gaia's garden landed in between the journey card and the false person card, creating the number 18? Gaia's garden being the number 18? By continuing to focus our thoughts in the now, discerning the way we are now, in the now, consistently, and that journey from the past into the now, and all of the gifts, creating stability and security throughout the entire trifecta: physical, emotional, and spiritual stability, alignment, optimism, consistency is key. Next to that, authenticity. It's the refreshing ideas that we've been speaking on all this time coming in. That's the message. I'm feeling guided to leave it there. And I want to thank you so very much for tuning in, beloved multiversal familia. If you made it this far, you are a rock star. And remember, true love never dies. With much gratitude and appreciation. Brightest